Welcome to the Anything for Sports podcast. My name's Drew Jackson. Today with us, we have Alijah Adem from Spring Valley. He led Las Vegas in scoring his sophomore year with 27 points and 8 assists a game. He was the 4A State Player of the Year. Welcome, Elijah.
Thank you.
So I want to jump right into it, get right into the conversation. Let's talk about your early beginnings in basketball. Want to kind of get to kind of the root of how you got started, what really drew you to basketball, and how your career kind of progressed.
Mhm. Okay. So from little kid, I was always around basketball because of my dad. He played growing up. So since a little kid, I had like LeBron James jerseys when he was back with Cleveland. And my dad used to play like at 24-hour fitness. So I'll be on the side 'cause I'll be too young to play. But I'll be always like seeing him play.
Going
He
to
be
those
talking
open
smack. Yeah,
runs.
he be doing all that. Yeah. So it kind of just like I was always around it as a kid. So it just kind of grew on me.
So 24-hour fitness open runs.
Yeah.
We're watching dad's skills.
Yeah.
Give me some. What is his? Give me his. What are his best traits? What are his worst traits?
His best traits? No, start with his worst traits. His worst traits, he does not pass at all.
No. Oh,
So
no
if you're
pass.
playing with him,
You're not
he will
touching it.
not. Yeah, you're not touching the ball. But the good thing is he will win no matter what. So like you could be on his team, you have 0 points. He'll say you going to 15. He'll have 15 points, but y'all will win. But yeah, he talks smack. He's kind of funny when he gets to it. He can shoot, and yeah, he can't really do nothing else. He shoot.
So, what pieces of your game do you feel like you modeled after kind of him and watching him?
Um, I like to have fun when I play, so having fun, talking smack to like your friends, and shooting for sure.
So, kind of growing up in that sports space, in that sports world, when did it become like real, like competitive, where it wasn't just like fun at the
Yeah.
kind of the park? And, when did it become where you were like, hey, I'm taking this serious?
I'll say my seventh grade summer when I think in middle school I should have been starting, but I didn't because my coach whatever. But then seventh grade summer, that's when I really started taking it serious. And my dad asked me, "Is like, is this something you want to do with your life? Then you're gonna have to take it serious. You're gonna have to put in work." And I remember waking up before school at like 4 a.m., working out at 24-hour fitness, then the shower in there, and going to school and just like being tired and going to practice after. So from young age, he built me like if you want something, you're gonna have to work for it because nobody gonna give it to you.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah,
Older or younger?
younger.
Did you have anyone who was kind of in front of you who you got to like model things after and see, or was it more from your dad being able to like lean off of that experience?
It was people like in instances like middle school and high school that you look up to, but mostly my dad. Just seeing how he carried himself, just seeing how he was, how he approached the game.
So going into high school, starting at Spring Valley, what were
Mhm.
those first 2 years like for you there?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous because I was taking my own path. So everybody's going to these big school names, and I wanted to go make my own path. So I went to Spring Valley not knowing what's next, but always felt like either way I'll be fine because I put in the work, and I know that the righteous like win, the people that really put in the work. So going into it, I didn't know how good we are gonna be. I didn't know nobody there. But then with time, I got to know the coaches, got to know Coach Blair, and just everybody, and it became like a family.
So when you first started, what was it like joining that team? How early did you have success? Did you start right away? Did you have to build behind people? What was that? What was that grind like?
Um, I started right away, but I had to work for it, and I could tell like some people on the team, especially seniors that was starting over, it was like, "Who's this new freshman coming in starting over me?" So I knew that, but in practice, I proved myself, and I showed that I should be starting.
As a freshman, because again, you're going with seniors, kids who are 17, 18, bigger body. Like, what did you do kind of to prepare yourself and to get ready to, as a freshman, be able to start and play against much more physically mature young men?
Well, I try to let them know from day one that like I know they're bigger than me, stronger than me, but I'm not gonna back down. Like I'm not scared. So I think when they sense that and they sense that like I could really play with them, I could really help their team, and like I'm on the same path as them, they really like accepted me and embraced me.
So, kind of with the training and stuff that you do with your dad, kind of building you up to that freshman, sophomore year, talk to me about what your like weight training and regiment looks like there, kind of getting ready as far as not just mentally, but physically to be able to handle that competition on a day-to-day basis and stay competitive?
Well, I didn't start lifting weights till my sophomore year. So my sophomore year, that's when I kind of started lifting, but I was more of a like calisthenics guy. So I
Okay.
do like push-ups, stuff with that weight, pull-ups. So just all that stuff.
Have you changed anything now, or is it kind of the routine and the stuff you started working on, does that remain kind of the same?
Ever since my injury, I've been taking the weight room more serious. So I'm in there way more now and I'm lifting weights now, still doing like my calisthenics and stuff. But I'm just overall taking it more serious and just making sure I get in there like before the gym.
All right, and you mentioned it, so we'll talk about it real quick because you said the word injury. Because I was at the game,
Yeah.
so it was I don't even remember what
It was off a
random.
dunk.
Yeah,
Off
going
steal.
for a
Yeah.
dunk, fast break. I don't remember what tournament it was, but fast break, going for a dunk. Like, just talk to me really quickly about that moment because you were again coming from sophomore year,
Mhm.
basically scoring title, 4A player, going into junior year, which was gonna kind of be, hey, we're about to take that next step. What was it like emotionally and mentally in that moment of, that next couple weeks, kind of what you went through and, how you had to kind of hold things together to kind of now push forward for a year without basketball.
I got humbled, I believe, because I was kind of like, I wouldn't say I was always humble, but I was kind of caught up in the hype, and I knew it was going to be a big year for me. So going into that game, I got a steal, went off a fast break, just went up for a dunk. It was like the highest I ever jumped, and yeah, and I just landed wrong, and it's a move I done like hundreds of times. You just land wrong, and like, going through struggles like that, I feel like it really built me, and if I had to go back, I wouldn't change a thing about it, so
So when you think about like mental toughness, you now have a year of recovery,
yeah.
right? Of I still need to get better, right? Because you can't stay in the same place as everyone is, still getting to work out and train, do all that. So,
Mhm.
what helped you kind of get over those hurdles and remain mentally tough enough to say, hey, I'm going to work this whole year, I'm going to recover, I'm going to get back, and I'm going to have the best senior year possible.
Yeah, honestly, it was more of a blessing in disguise because I felt like I needed that time to myself to, like, not be traveling, not be with anybody, but just be, like, with myself in solitude. And just like really see who I am, not even as a basketball player, but as a person. And I feel like with that injury, like God was really testing me to see like if I really want it or not. The first 3 months after my surgery, I did a good job staying off social media because I didn't want to know like who's doing what and stuff. So I stayed a good job just casting myself off and just putting my head down and putting in the work. And it kind of like grew me to do like to know that people are not willing to do certain things like that makes them uncomfortable. So I kind of got comfortable doing the uncomfortable. So like just doing like little stuff like waking up every morning, taking cold showers, going to recovery, pushing my like self to failure, and just little things like that that I know not everybody's doing that's gonna separate me from the rest.
If you had to look back at that time period, what was the hardest thing that you went through?
I'll say at first, not knowing why it happened. So I try to look for a lesson in everything. 'Cause I know there's a lesson in everything. So I'll say for the longest, I didn't know why it was happening. I was searching for it. Then I'll say like 3 or 4 months in, when I just like kind of just calm down and just like face my reality, like this is what it is. What are you gonna do about it now? It started really hit me like what was God trying to build in me and like build my character, try to do in me.
Was there a point during recovery where you were like, I can't do it anymore? This
Nah,
isn't it?
nah.
No.
Always try to push myself.
So give me a little bit of insight into your current kind of diet and nutritional regimen and when that started for you.
So I'll go when it started. It started once I got hurt, I believe, like, after my surgery, I was looking up a lot of things, and I wanted to recover faster, so I get on the court faster. And I wanted to make sure I'm doing, like, everything, like, physically or with my diet or mentally to make sure, like, nothing like this ever happens again. So I just took really everything serious, and, yeah, I just went, raw vegan, like, plant-based.
All right. So tell me what's included in that and tell me what's not included in that.
Okay, what's not included, no dairy and no meat
No meat,
and no fish.
no fish.
So everything that comes, like, from plants and, seeds, nuts, all that is good, you still could have bread, you know? I
Hmm.
eat, like, avocado toast, peanut butter and honey, stuff like that, and just, like, everything that comes from, like, Mother Nature comes from God.
So give me a typical meal. It's dinner time. Or sure, no, let's go with your birthday. It's your birthday.
My birthday.
It's you get to pick the meal. This is your favorite meal. What are you going with? What's the
Mm.
go-to now?
Well, there's this I'll probably go out to eat, because there's a lot of good vegan restaurants here, but there's this one place, I don't know if you know, it's called Gray's.
Okay, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, and they have 5 stars. They're a really good vegan place. They, like, make everything from burgers to, like, chicken strips
Mhm.
to, like, Korean barbecue, nachos, everything, but, it's plant-based. So, I took my friend there one time after church, and we ate there, and they didn't know it was, plant-based till I told them.
Okay.
So, it's,
Yeah.
like, that good.
I'll tempt you a little bit. Is there anything that you miss? Is there anything you're like, man, I really want? Or
Really want like, food-wise?
yeah, if you could have one
Um,
like cheat day, what would it be?
mm,
What are you going with?
probably chicken.
Chicken?
Yeah.
Okay. So then have you seen like positive impacts though from that
Yeah.
time? Like since you've made that change, like it's
Mhm.
been months now that you're like, do you feel better? Do you see
Yeah.
like, a little pep in your step?
I recover way faster, so I'll be doing a workout and with my trainer. So after I do a workout with my trainer, he'll expect me to be sore. He's like, "Just heads up, you're gonna be sore tomorrow." Blah blah blah. Then next morning I wake up, I'm not sore, like I'm fine, I'm ready to go. But say before that, doing that same exact workout before my injury, when I used to eat all this like meat and dairy, I would be sore and I'll be like wake up, my knees would be hurting. So I don't have like no more knee pains. I feel better. I like feel lighter on my feet. You know, like when you eat, after you eat like a meal like soul food or something, you wanna go to sleep or take a nap. Yeah.
Be out.
Yeah. I don't have that. Like, I feel, like, energized after I eat. I feel like I wanna go do something. So I'll just say that really helped me.
So when you're like working out, going to workouts, what are your like go-to, not necessarily snacks, but like to kind of power you through it? Like as far as like you do energy bars, anything like that?
Lately, I've been putting all my friends on too, but they won't give me credit. You know, the Smoothie King, the acai
Yeah.
bowls?
Yeah.
Those been, like, before my workout, like 30 minutes, they help me have energy throughout the whole workout. So just fruit mainly, like berries, gives you energy.
So kind of shift away from diet and nutrition. Just kind of go back like pre-injury. I think we were, I mean, on a really uptrend, like
Mhm.
going to your sophomore year, like making it to, pushing through the playoffs to the state game. Talk to me about in your career what that trajectory was like as far as getting to that level, taking your team to kind of that heights.
It was really a blessing because nobody thought we were gonna make it there. Everybody had their doubts, but that's with anything. So, but I believe that we as a team believed that we had a chance to make it to state, but not only make it state, but to win. Even though we didn't win that one, but it just like gave us the like motivation and just the hunger that like we've been there before, so we know how it feels, we know what it takes, and we just want to get back there again.
So when you got kind of the 4A player of the year, you made Super 7, what, you're kind of getting these accolades and
Mhm.
achievements. Like, what did those mean to you? Did that, because kind of watching your career, I think those things give you positive affirmations for
Yeah,
I put in all this work. I'm
yeah.
actually seeing kind of the fruits of my labor and success. Like, how did you feel once you were getting those?
I feel exactly how you said that I'm getting the fruits of my labor. So, like me putting all my hard work in, I knew it was paying off obviously by my accolades and awards. But I try not to like cuz some people get that and they try to like justify like, "Oh, I got this, I got that. What do you got?" Like stuff like that. So, I try to like do everything in present. I don't try to bring up nothing like in the past tense. So, say like I did this before, I did that. I just try to like prove myself and like show that like what I got wasn't by accident. It was like designed like I do this.
So looking at senior year, we're gonna build an Elijah vision board. Like, what are we putting at the top of that vision board as far as like kind of your current goals, like what
Mhm.
you're looking to do with this year?
First, I want to get my team to. I want to win state. I want to get us to state though. I want to have a undefeated season, and I believe it's possible with my team. Um, Personal, I want to win Gatorade Player of the Year. I want to get Super 7 again. Um, I just want to just be the best I can be. So like in every aspect. So just like I want to leave this year knowing I have no regrets, knowing I did everything I can. And I believe if I do that, I'll be fine.
What's it gonna take for you guys to be in that playoff and state contention? What do you guys need to do to get there?
Compete every day. compete with ourselves. Knowing we gotta be willing to do what other teams are not willing to do. Like we gotta be willing to wake up at 4 a.m. if we have to, work out before school, have a workout after school, take our nutrition serious, get good rest. It like all starts from the little stuff, like get good grades, everything.
So as a leader, what's it been like for you so far? Because you were
Uh,
with the team
yeah.
before, you kind of had kind of the year off, and now you're having, you have new players that you didn't
Mhm.
play with before. You're having to rebuild and start some relationships. I mean, they know of you, they know who you were, but how has it been kind of getting back into the field and kind of building back that like chemistry and rhythm with everybody?
They've been motivating for me. So the new guys we have a couple new players. They're super motivating. So when we come into practice, they bring the most energy. Like it be me, Jameson, we got CJ, we all bring the most energy. I believe that's important. They just like we all motivate each other. We're not in competition with each other. We're all trying to be the best in our role. And we had a team meeting recently, just the players. We set up like our team roles and what we vision and what we're trying to accomplish. So I believe like that, like put it set in stone. Just help us.
So then going into this season, kind of looking at your goals, you know, we talked a little bit about what it's going to take to get there. You know, I think looking at that recovery and coming back into a season like this, like it's not, you know, I think feel like any ESPN 30 for 30, any movie, like there's going to
Mhm.
be some challenges in the road. You're going to hit this roadblock. You're going to lose to that team you were supposed to beat. I think when those things happen, you just went through a huge period of having to overcome an obstacle that most people don't have to go through. And a lot of people aren't tough enough to get through. What do
Mhm.
you think you can take from your recovery time and everything you had to go through there to help your team kind of get over those hurdles and kind of as a leader push them past those stumbling points that you guys might have?
Well, like you said, everybody goes through stuff, like personal or not. Just as a team, I believe we're gonna go through stuff, but we try to make it a point in practice. Like even somebody throws a bad pass, somebody misses the dunk, misses a shot. We try to motivate each other and just like no, like this what like stuff like this could happen in games. Like how you respond. Like what about it? You can't be reacting. You got to like respond to it.
Just talk to me a little bit about your leadership style. 'Cause I think knowing you and knowing your dad, positivity is, I think, a big part of like what you do. And you kind of just mentioned it there in the way kind of you lead and help to like galvanize the troops and keep everybody going. Like talk to me a little bit about your leadership style and like what you bring to the table and how you approach kind of mentoring and leading the team.
Well, certain people respond to different type of like leadership. So this weekend in the Liberty Showcase tournament, I had a good chance to like sit down and watch. Me and the coaches had a good time to like sit down and watch and see like who responds to like what certain type of coaching. So now that's like put in perspective now. So we have a good understanding of that. It just like knowing how to approach certain people. Like, say if somebody misses a shot, but if you tell him something that's gonna like negative, he's gonna like be in his feelings the whole game and stuff. Just like certain stuff like that. But I mainly try to be positive and just lead by example because I can say all I want, but if I'm not doing it myself or I'm not leading by example, they're not gonna take you serious. So just try to like I give respect to get respect. So that's a big thing with me and just being respectful and just talking to each other and just making sure like we don't have like no envy, no negativity, none of that.
So kind of leaning on that, like that positive message and knowing that like family and religion are a very big part of your life. And I think influence your athletic journey as well. Talk to me about how those two things kind of impact you as a person and then you as an athlete and a player.
Well, my family, we've been through a lot together and they've been with me every single step of the way. So with them, it's my parents, my dad especially, always gonna keep it real with me. If I'm doing good or bad, he's always gonna keep it real. He's the one to like kind of humble me when I'm like up here or stuff like that. He's always the one to keep me like level headed and to let me know I have more work to do. Yeah, well, religion just like knowing that God favors the humble and he oppresses the proud. So just knowing that you staying humble, you having no envy, you doing everything like pure is gonna be rewarded in the end. And like God sees that. So just like doing as much as I can, working as hard as I can, because I don't wanna look back on like judgment day and be like, God could have he told me you could have been this, you could have been that, but instead you chose to do this, you chose to do that. So just making sure I live in a way that I have no regrets.
So along the road, there have been some other coaches, mentors, people that have influenced your life. Let's pick some of those out, talk about some of those, give some people kind of some credit for people that have had like that positive influence, whether it was sports related or not. Are there any people that kind of stick out
Um,
when you think of people that have helped mold you as an athlete and as a young man?
yeah, for sure. I believe everybody like in my life helped me like positively or negatively. My dad for sure, as a coach and as a dad, him keeping it real with me. My mom as well. She's she's harder on me. So yeah. And I'll just say like life in general. Just like life being like coaching you, teaching you, and like kind of humbling me. So with that and God as well, and my family, my uncle Awed, Coach Blair, all the coaches I had like had an impact in my life in some sort of way to help me get where I'm at.
So I think one of the big traits or missions I see with your dad is kind of like helping others, and it
Mhm.
feels like that has kind of rubbed off a little bit on you as
Yeah.
well. So like talk to me about like how important that is like in your personal journey of like giving back, of impacting, helping others.
Well, just knowing like the universe like has to pay debt. Like you get out what you get in, give to people. So just knowing if you give good, you're gonna receive good. And just being a good person, like helping when you can, it just like makes you feel good. So like why not do it? And just like knowing that karma's a real thing, like good karma, bad karma. So anything you put out in the universe is coming back to you. So just always knowing that.
So let's talk to young Elijah. Looking back, if you had to give younger you some advice on like what you've learned now after this journey, the career, the injury, playing sports, like the hardships, like what would you tell younger you at the kind of start and beginning of that journey?
Mm. I'll tell younger me to buckle up, tie my shoelaces tight because it's gonna be a long journey. It's gonna be an exhausting one, but it's gonna be a good and fulfilling one in the end.
When you're looking at kind of the success you've had so far and kind of younger kids that are probably starting where you started and like now having to make those decisions of like, should I work hard? Are those 4
Yeah.
a.m., workouts worth it? Like,
Mhm.
what would you tell them as far as like what you've learned of? Because again, when you're doing those things before you were player of the year, before you made Super Seven, before you
Yeah.
were scoring 27 points a game, you didn't necessarily know other than your
Nah.
dad telling you, like, do it, that those things were going to pay off.
Yeah.
Like, how do you like, what would you tell them to let them know, like, the hard work's worth it, and, hey, if you don't do it,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get there anyways?
Just trusting I trust in my dad. So I'll say just trusting whoever's your role model is. Just trusting that they're not gonna do anything to harm you. They want to better you. So once I got that with my dad, cause we had a lot of conflict growing up, cause like coach and dad,
Right?
obviously, but we go through it and it made us better and closer than ever. So I would say just knowing that your parents are not gonna do anything, or like anybody, your role model, your mentor, not gonna do anything to harm you. But just knowing that and just like knowing that whatever work you put in is gonna come back to you. So if you um we can't cuss on here. If you do like half work, you're gonna get like half work back. And if you do full work, you're gonna get full work back and just stuff like that.
So outside of the sports space, do you have any specific goals, aspirations, or something that you're working towards just as far as, like, a person?
Outside of basketball.
Yeah, outside of basketball.
Um, well, I wanna lead by example, but I talked about this in another podcast. I wanna heal my people like spiritually, physically, mentally. Cause I believe like the perception of like what everybody sees is their own perception, of course, but I believe it's the wrong one. And I believe like we're eating the wrong foods as like humans and just doing like negative stuff. Like, and we're like the foods we're eating and the environments we're in are like birthing these like kind of like demon babies that are like robbing people, being gangsters, all that. But it all starts like with your environment and like just stopping what's destroying us.
I think you're in a good position for, I think, a lot of these messages again, because even with that injury, I you know, you never know when something's gonna get taken away from you, right? You work so hard to get to this point, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden like that, bam, it happens. So now it kind of like, it's people talk about that when they have like a near death experience. Like it kind of wakes you up
Yeah.
and you start looking at things a little bit differently. And now you have kind of that perspective that without those things, it's hard for other people to have. And I think that gives you a unique position to be able to kind of like communicate those messages to
Yeah.
people and let them know from what you went through and then what you've learned, like, these are real things and these are things impacting the community, and to kind of help them kind of not have to go through that, but still learn the same lessons.
Yeah.
I think that's big. So I want to make sure that people can kind of find you. So I'm going to have you look directly into that camera. That's going to be your camera.
All
And
right.
I want you to give them your, we'll start with Instagram, your social media.
My Instagram is Elijah. It's kind of longer though, so it's AlijahAAHHH.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
remember typing your name. And I'm
yeah,
like, what? I gotta
because
find
somebody
this.
took my name. So yeah.
But we'll overlay that on the screen so everybody can see it and they can find you. So I'm gonna ask one more question that we started adding at the end, and I took this from All the Smoke. Kind of what the podcast is about, and kind of bringing spotlight to local athletes, kind of focusing on Las Vegas talent. Is there anyone, and kind of the question is to find someone in a sport that's not yours that you would see as someone who, is a player that's been working hard, kind of reaching that upper tier echelon that needs some extra exposure that would be like a good candidate for like coming on the podcast
Mm.
and kind of giving their story. Is there anybody that comes to mind? So we'll go with your sport. Is there anybody in boys basketball space, any division?
Yeah. My teammate too that had a knee injury, Jameson McCall.
Yeah.
Him, yeah, he put in a lot of work, and I don't believe like he's getting the recognition he deserves right now to like how much work he put in compared to other people.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on the podcast. I think this was a great kind of story to tell. Really, again, going through an injury of any kind, like sitting out it for a year of a sport that you've spent your whole life building to,
Mhm.
is going to be hard for anyone at any level, where it's professional, college. So for, someone of your age to be able to handle that and go through that as maturely as you did, I think is huge, and a credit to you and your dad as well, getting through that. And now, again, being out on the other side of that and now getting to kind of reprove yourself again. I think it's going to be big. I think this is going to be a big year for you. And I mean, I'm really excited to kind of watch and see where you go from here.
Thank you, appreciate you.
So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, this is Anything for Sports podcast. My name is Drew Jackson. You can find us on Instagram at Anything for Sports and on YouTube at Anything for Sports TV. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.